Welcome to another week of Ausmericanaces. I'm Renee Gartner. We are one man down with Ash away with the family, but we do have the great Aaron Woods. Welcome.
Guts, I feel a little bit lost.
I know.
Our little man, my main man, he got me a gift last week with the shirts.
He did.
And now he's a no-show.
Now
he's having a well-earned holiday. Well-earned holiday. But Garth, I'm telling you, I'm glad the weekend's over.
I know.
I had a lot of
Big
chocolate.
one. Did you?
I had a lot of chocolate with Easter.
Did Buster get any of it, or did you just take the
We
pair
did
of
an
taps?
Easter egg hunt in the back, but I think my bucket had more than everyone else's. So I was just glad to get back on that treadmill on Monday morning.
I feel you. I went up to go see the parents, and it was the first time I'd really watched footy with Dad in a long time. And geez, he's got those eyes.
Is he one of those old blokes like, back in my day, we would have done that.
Yeah, and it was just like, you know what, they sook too much about this, and they should be tougher. And I'm like, oh, Dad.
We train 2 nights a week. These blokes still in every day.
Yep, all of the above. There was a lot of eye rolls. There was a lot of eye rolls, a lot of chocolate, and a lot of whiskies drunk. So it was a good weekend, but the saga continues in the world of rugby league. I feel like this Lachlan Galvin West Tigers yarn is just not going anywhere.
I don't think it's going to be going anywhere either, Guts. Look, honestly, you look at that was a game they needed to win on the weekend against the Eels. It was highly publicised with Jerome Luai, the social media post, which I've got nothing against that. I don't mind that because
you didn't mind it.
I don't mind the Luai one.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, Luai was
the Taruva one took it a bit too far. And you got to remember it was on his friends list, I think it was. Close friends. But still in saying that, like if you're a leader at the club, you just grab the kid to the side. So I did put a lot more pressure on that squad that they need to go out and have a good performance on Monday. Didn't help Parramatta's big in was Mitchell Moses. You know, from the get-go, they just look like a different side. There was some weird decisions in that game from the refereeing.
Here we go. We haven't even gotten to the offload, which we're not doing today for this reason.
But it did hurt both sides.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was just one. But, Jeezy, just like to see him take the P out of the whistle sometimes. But back to the Galvin, like, he come out, he plays for Western Suburbs Magpies on Monday. I think he had something like 30 runs.
Yeah, an 80-minute game too, wasn't it?
In an 80-minute game, he went out there, he tried. I ended up watching it on social media.
So you didn't go out you said you were out to the hill.
No, I was going to go out, but I couldn't be bothered in the end, mate. Like, imagine me there. Come on, man. Next,
you were getting hammered enough on social media, let alone
for having an opinion. Look, honestly, I just watched it. He was a kid that was trying his heart out. He didn't look like he had anything bothering him, which is good that from a young man to do that. But, geez, the Tigers missed him on the weekend. Yeah. Look, Adam Dewey's a great mate of mine, but I think his best role for that side at the moment is playing in the centre jersey. Yeah, and, there was a period of that game where Taruva was off. I think Iongi got 10 in the bin, and so did Marotti, the forward off the bench. So it was 12v11. Yeah. And you put a player like Lachlan Galvin on in that squad, I think he could have really helped them. Do we know if he would have won the game with him there? No, we don't. But I think it would have been a lot better. But he's back in the team this week.
Yeah. And I have a question here in terms of the dynamic with two of the players that have called him out on social media which he's now claimed is the bullying segment as well. Yep. As a coach, how do you manage that on field? Like, have you ever had to play with or seen teammates that didn't get along at all and then have to sort of pull out friendships aside?
You've always played with. At the end of the day, it's a professional environment. Sometimes you're not going to get along with people. And I've played with blokes, even at that club, that a couple of blokes didn't get along with. When you cross that white line, you know what's best for the team. And if you win games, it's what's best for you as well. But in saying that, these bullying ones are hard because I've been in dressing sheds before.
Have you?
No, I'm just trying to. I've hammered people, and then I've been hammered by people. Yeah. Now you look back, and it's sort of like, oh, did I cross the line? We thought it was a joke. That's going to always be in the back of the mind of players now.
Are you talking about you've hammered teammates and vice
just
versa?
Practical jokes, taking the mickey, mucking around. Then I've been on the other end as well, where the guys give it to you. But then now are players, before they can do anything, do they have to think about the consequences? Because one person might think, oh, that's okay. But then the next person might be like, oh, that's a bullying, that's a threat. And, I could be, the manager could launch a legal action. That's where it gets real tricky now.
Yeah. But that's the same as now, I guess, welcome to the world, because that's been workplace environments for all of us, not on a footy field. And I have to say, like, I've been involved in rugby league for like 25 years. Players are taught about that sort of stuff. You're taught about sexual assault, sexual discrimination, drugs, bullying, all that sort of stuff. So, and Luai's been a massive one to come out and say he got death threats, he got bullied on social media. So that's why I couldn't cop his post. Everyone's like, oh, it wasn't too bad. I'm like, for a bloke who last year brought up that he had all this heat on social media and it was horrible, for him to then do it to a teammate or about a team incident that should have stayed in-house and not become public fanfare, bit of a, glass house sort of situation.
Yeah, it is a glass house moment, but I think he's trying to support the coach.
Do it another way. I just think, sorry, but you can't.
I don't agree with what he's done.
Yeah.
And I've said it on record. I said I've had some good captains in my time in Robbie Farah, Paul Gallen, Boyd Cordner, Wade Graham, and I know they would never do that.
Yeah.
They would just front you straight up. As soon as you walk through those doors, they'd pull you to the side, and if you've got a problem, let's sort it out now. But the kids are different this day and age.
Yeah.
And it's a thing like they express themselves more on their phones than when you actually talk to them.
Yeah, true.
But now the whole limelight is on the West Tigers.
Yeah, well, another two more players got dragged into it recently.
Two young kids. Look, obviously there was some reports out there that I think were misled. Is that right?
Yeah.
But they have had some, I think, conversations with certain organisations. Don't know what it's been about, but it's just going to be on the Tigers now. And they've brought Lockie back into the team. Would I have brought him back this week? No. You're playing at Leichhardt Oval. Your fans are right on top of you. There's nowhere to hide. I just think I would have waited one more week, or I would have played him last week. Like, he's come up against Parramatta. Yeah, he would have copped a pretty hostile reception, but the side that he's been linked to is Parramatta, so probably would have got booed and cheered at the same time.
Yeah.
But then you come into a game this week. You hear that it's a must-win game. That's what the decision was. Last week was must-win.
Yeah. But I also defend Benji's comment when he said, we've got to remember he's 19 years old.
He is, yes.
The headlines were insane and they were coming in thick and fast. To have the headspace to be able to perform as an older player would have been tough, let alone a 19-year-old. Yes, I think Leichhardt's going to be tough, but I think he's now had enough time away from.
I don't think he's been so much away. I think it's more the players that he's going to be around. Is like how's he going to be with Taruva and Luai? Appy. I've seen Appy's comments after the game. They asked him, how do you get through this as West Tigers? He goes, well, we get together and we fix it. You didn't speak to that kid for 4 days last week. Or do
we know that for sure?
He said at the press conference he hadn't spoke to the kid. Yeah. And that's the two skippers there. They both hadn't spoke to the kid.
Yeah, that's pretty ordinary.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why it's going to keep dragging on.
Yeah.
There's, do I think those two blokes should have been up for that press conference? No, I don't think they handled it well. Benji handled it outstandingly.
Yeah, I thought Benji was great.
But the two players, they were just they were giggling, mucking around. It wasn't the scene for that. We know that they are two pretty funny dudes, but that's a serious, and then you see the press conference, you see the coach's press conference after the game, and Shane Richardson has to shut down some journalists.
Yeah.
You can tell that there's a bit of pressure on that organisation at the moment. And yeah, I don't know when it's going to stop. They need to win, and they're coming up against a red hot Cronulla Sharks side who we know they can put some points on very quick.
Very much so. And I just thought I'd bring it up because we were talking about the two West Tigers players that got dragged into it. Because people make assumptions. To be a journo, you've got to be on the front foot and be the first to break the story. And when there's a whisper, you just really want to get a headline. You've been the centre of a couple of those, haven't you?
Oh, you always do. I remember, I think I was 18 the first time I was playing West Tigers.
Yep.
And I was linked to Manly on a big deal.
Early on?
Yeah, early on, very early on. And I was a big Manly supporter as well. So it was one that you look at and you go, oh, wow. Tim Sheens was my coach, ended up sitting down with Sheensy and just sort of showed the direction where he wanted to go. And I was all about, I just wanted to learn how to play footy. Yeah. And the bugs I had at the club, Bryce Gibbs, Todd Payton, Keith Galloway, your Farahs, Gareth Ellis, that was a really good, apprenticeship for me to learn under those blokes because they were so professional and they knew how to play the game. But it did come out in the paper that I had an apartment in DY.
Why and how did you have an apartment in DY?
I don't know. I was still trying to find the keys to that apartment. I've never had an apartment in DY. And, because you got to look at it, right? So at the time, Grant Mayer was our CEO, and journalists always have a relationship with someone. It was Bulldog Richie.
Yep.
Dean Richie.
The good old
just
Bulldog.
Goes off on whatever someone tells him and just happened to write a story about it. I said my knees were terrible because I had knee surgery before, and that's what Grant Mayer was relaying to him. But they're just trying to get their value down lower. That's just how it rolls, and that's what it is. So I understood what they were doing, but geez, I learned a lot from that from the first time I was off contract.
And you still haven't learnt where the unit is.
I'd like to know where it is. DY's a good area. It's quite expensive too. It would have valued pretty good now.
Didn't you also get done not long after potentially the same journo?
It was not potentially. It was the same journo.
I'm trying to be careful with my words.
Blew it too early. I was catching up with my good mate Dave Clemmer. His young bloke had just been in ICU, and he was stressing, he was struggling. And Joshy Reynolds was there as well. And what people didn't understand is that on Clem's bridal party or groomsmen, we were both groomsmen with Clem.
Okay.
And Joshy Reynolds grew up with my wife's brothers.
Right.
So we've got a really close relationship there. Ended up having coffee with them at Roselands, which was just up the road from my in-laws' place. And didn't help that a couple of Bulldogs boys had popped in on the way home from training from Belmore. And I was just sort of catching up. I ended up giving Clem a gift and, just sitting down and having a conversation with him. And someone took a photo and sent it to Bulldog Richie, and he ended up putting it on the back page of the paper. And we were playing the Bulldogs that week.
Oh, come on. What, and saying that you were signing with them?
Yeah, so I was signed, sealed, and delivered, which I hadn't at that time, but then about 2 months later I did.
Oh, so he did get wind of something.
He got wind of something, but that was great because I ran out to it was Anzac round, so it was this week.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was this week, and we were playing the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium, and yeah, it was like number 1, James Tedesco, boo. Number 6, Mitchell Moses, boo. Number 7, Luke Brooks, yeah. And then
so the Bulldogs were like, yes, we want him.
No, because he was the only one staying. He was the only one that was not linked to go anywhere at that period of time. And then number 8, Aaron Woods, boo.
Oh, sorry.
I got
Yeah,
absolutely, completely booed in that situation. So, mate, you live and you learn. And that's why I'm worried for Lockie this week. I know how passionate Tigers fans are. Leichhardt Oval is their spiritual home ground. And like, there is nowhere to hide there. It is just on top. When you walk into the ground, you've got to park. Like, it's not like you just drive up the back. You've got to walk up through the fans, and you'll probably need more than 1 second this week because it's going to be a hostile reception.
You'll need a scrum around him just to get in the field.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, as a person who's played at Leichhardt a fair bit, what do you make of their new stadium that they've put into the government, the plans? Have you seen it?
I love it. I think it's outstanding. And
the hill remains.
Well, people like Brent Reed, he thinks it's something like a lipstick or something.
Lipstick on a pig? Is that
on a pig? That's what he said. Yeah. So that bloke's got no idea. He's I think he's been talking to Richo too much about trying to do some stuff for that club. But who knows? Richo will probably come out and say it's not good enough, and they'll be based probably in Queensland soon because they get paid more money and more corporates. But I do like what they've done. I like that the back where the hill is, behind the goal post, they're going to have a big stadium, sort of like some seatage there. Yep. I think that'll be awesome.
Yeah.
20,000, I think it was.
Which increases it from another 6,000.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Right? Yeah.
And then just the corporate facilities will be a lot more improved, and that's how you make money as a club.
100%. And it's still, as I said, it still remains as like the
L
shape of the hill,
just
which is the grass.
That's not setting concrete, is it? That's just a proposal.
No, yeah.
Oh, damn. I got excited when I seen the pictures.
Sorry to burst your bubble. While I'm bursting your bubble as well too, Manly going to be without another one of their players, Toffa. He copped 4 weeks last night for the infamous hip tackle.
You got 4 weeks for getting knocked out.
Well, that also.
I can't figure it out. Obviously, I know that Faidai has got a fractured
fibula and a high level
ankle sprain.
Syndesmosis.
But it was complete accident, that one. And he carried the ball strong and sort of, I think he's sort of turned his hip a little bit, and as Toffa simply comes in to make the contact, he gets dazed. And you can just see him go down. He does lose his feet, which is, they say in the hip drop tackles you can't lose your feet, but he just got ran over.
Yeah.
It was the ball carrier's fault for having such a strong carry.
Yeah.
Seriously, like if you look at it now,
Yeah.
like the carry wasn't as good. Toff holds his legs, doesn't get knocked out, and just wrestles him to the ground. These are a lottery.
Yeah.
I think they've just made an example of Toff for this one. They referred him straight to the judiciary. If he doesn't get injured in that tackle, then nothing really happens, I don't think.
Yeah.
He probably just gets 1 week suspension. But you just got to be careful. Like even the other week, like just when you're tackling someone from behind, you're always going to probably land on them because you got to dive. You're outstretched. Like the Samuela Fainu one on Easter Monday, that was a joke because I don't even think did he even land on his?
I didn't think he did. As I said, we were sort of blowing up about it at home, and Dad was going nuts.
But the worst thing was they get a penalty, and then they get kicked for touch. Kelma Tulangi, who got hip dropped, supposedly scores a try.
Yeah.
And they go bang, bang. They scored 3 tries in the space of 6 or 7 minutes. So the momentum changes the game. You ask a referee what a hip drop is, I reckon they wouldn't even be able to tell you.
Well, Dad's comment was, he goes, if you're going to complain that you can barely even stand, and then 2 minutes later you get up and you step off both feet, like if there's a hip drop and there's an injury, you should be straight off.
And you watch Kelma, he scores a try, great, and then he gets up, realises, oh yeah, it was about a minute ago. He started limping again. Come on, Kel.
I can't cop that. But it must be so frustrating being a coach at the moment. Like I know Wayne Bennett and Benji Marshall both come out. Ivan Cleary's also come out as well too. I think Ricky Stewart's made some comments about it. That's now 3/4.
Well, you look at that there. You got 3 senior coaches and a rookie coach.
Yeah. All going.
You'd probably go, if the rookie coach said, oh, we don't know what it is, but the 3 seniors said they do, then you go, well, there's a problem there. But all 4 are on the same page. No one knows what is going on here. And you got, what I'm hating now is what I'm seeing is players, if they get an emotion nearly like a hip drop or pulled back, and you can tell that, like when you're watching the game live and you can't see the little close, in-depth things, if they go close to what looks similar to a hip drop, players will stay down now.
Yeah.
And then you're hearing commentators go, oh, geez, that looked like a bit like a hip drop. But then you watch the replay, it didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
That's what we've got the risk of with our game, with our great game, that people are going to start taking dives, and it's just not a good look on the game.
Well, how hard is it, layman asking, to not get yourself in that position if you are chasing an attacker down?
Oh, it's so hard.
To then be, okay, now I need to move my body this way, or do you have to release?
Especially if,
how do you get out of it once you're...
And there's a saying, I remember David Boyle from South Sydney, the big tough man, he, good player, tough, hard bloke, but when he come to Tigers, he used to have a saying, run at spaces, not faces. And if you run in between 2 defenders now, and all you got to do is poke your nose through, they can, by your momentum going forward, you can drag someone back down, and then that's how you land on the hips. Like, you don't even mean to do that.
Yeah, okay.
It's the way that the person, it's not always the defender, it's the person carrying the ball. If it's a strong carry, you could bump someone off like Fayai did for the Dragons, and then because you're going through the motion, because it's so, the force that you're going through that tackle with, they can just land on you with the way that they get hit. So the intentional ones, you look at the one Pat Carrigan with when he broke Hastings' leg that time. That was bad, but we haven't seen many of them before because Hastings was standing in a tackle, Carrigan's trying to bring him down, and he landed on his hip, landed on his leg, accidental or not, but he was still going with the motion to try to bring him down. The ones where they just get beaten the tackle and land on it, like I just find it hard.
Frustrating.
As a fan watching it, trying to tell people that don't know what rugby league is, what that is a penalty for. It is so hard.
Do you think we're going to see that like all season? This is going to be it? Because remember when they took out the shoulder charge and stuff like that, and all the players had to change the way.
But even with the shoulder charge guards, the Kelma Tulangi first tackle of the game, should have been sin binned. The Tigers don't get a reward. They get Kelma gets put on report 2 sets later, and now he's got a 3-match suspension. What reward do the Tigers get for that?
Yeah.
Or what benefit do the Tigers get from a foul play? Nothing.
Zilch.
And that's what the talking point is for a lot of people. Like you blatantly see it straight away, and then it happens to Jack Bird in the second half, but they get a penalty. So it's just not evening out.
Wow, it's rugby league, isn't it? Rugby league. Hey, I know we've sort of touched on Manly, but there's another issue coming up there as well too. Obviously, DCE is no longer going to be with Manly beyond next season. They're now calling to strip his captaincy.
Ooh.
What are your thoughts on that?
Captaincy of Manly or Queensland?
Captaincy of Manly.
Ooh, it is a tough one. It's a discussion that Seabold has to have with DCE and the leadership group. If Ches feels like his game isn't going too well, which at the moment they've been struggling since the decision made. They beat Parramatta that didn't fire a shot at Brookvale that night. They've been disappointing, Manly, haven't they? So you can look outside. I know Siebes has come out and said they had travel and the amount of games they played in the last year. Look at Canberra. I think they've been away for 45 or 60 days, and they're coming third. So you can't really use that as an excuse. Is it a decision of Cherry Evans? Look, Tigers are going for the same thing. He's just got to make a decision what's best for the side. If he thinks it's taking the captaincy off Cherry, do it. Who do you give it to? Do you give it to probably Jake? He's probably the next in line. But it's how the reaction is going to be for Cherry Evans if he does get stripped of the captaincy.
Which it's like was Beaver. He was never captain, was he? When he
Beaver was
left, no. But I think I'd find it more unsettling for a team. Although he has said he's not going to be there beyond the year, he still is a captain.
I personally,
he's a senior player. To then strip it off him, I think that's just going to create more drama, more toxic. I
agree with you, Guts. If they take the C next to Cherry Evans' name, we're going to see Manly in the media again.
Oh yeah.
I know that they haven't won games. They got Penrith this week. They need to win that. But if Siebes does take the C off him, there's already that question mark about the relationship between Siebes and Cherry Evans. If they end up stripping him, then they go, oh, geez, they definitely had a fallout. Or it just creates something out of nothing.
Yeah.
So I think the bigger talk is if he's going to play Origin or not.
Well, this is true, yeah.
That's the big talk.
Do you think at the moment he'd be named?
Well, he has to play because you look at you've got Harry Grant hamstring.
Oh, of course,
Walsh,
yeah. I forgot about him.
Knee out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, God. I feel bad for the players, but that's nice
I
to
couldn't
hear
care less
as a New
about
South
Queensland.
Welshman. No,
Could not care
yeah.
less. But then you're probably going to look at, it'll be Did and Cherry in the halves.
Yeah, okay.
Kalen Ponga fullback and Hunt.
Yeah, well, that's the only options they've really got.
That's what I'm saying. So he definitely will be in the side. I think he's probably got the right. He's still playing decent footy.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be, you know what, for Manly, that could be a blessing for him to get away from Manly for a period of time, go back in camp, enjoy being around the boys, different environment, come back and then finish the year on a high.
Yeah, he normally comes out of Origin camp like buzzing, doesn't he?
When they win, yes.
Yeah, well, hopefully they don't. Well, that's the thing. We want him buzzing, but we don't want Queensland winning.
I want him losing, yeah.
All right, well, Ash is away this week, and we normally do Ash's high and low of last week. Can you feel these big shoes?
Yeah, well, it's not hard.
No.
Nah, I love the big. I really do miss him, actually.
I know.
My highs we'll go low. What do you reckon?
Low first.
We'll go low first.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Knights attack.
Oh, okay. On Old Boys Day too,
mate.
You can't do that on Old Boys Day.
And they scored a couple of points late in the game. Like Sharks had done. Sharks were in first gear.
Yeah.
As bad as it sounds, and you got Bradman Best in that team. You got Kalen Ponga. They're just going one out. I know they're missing some big boys up front, but their attack is 60 points well, they've had a bye in 6 games.
Yeah.
They're averaging 10 points a game.
That's ordinary.
It is ordinary for a Knights side, but like I said, with the likes of Kalen Ponga.
Yeah, because Ponga's under a heap of heat with it as well too, and then you've just named him as the fullback for the Origin side. I'm here for it if he wants to keep not scoring points at the back.
Other low, West Tigers.
Okay.
Obvious reasons. Galvin in, out, and then losing on the weekend when they needed to win.
Yeah.
Easter Monday, huge game against 11 men against 12. Needed to get that. Need to ice that. Thing I do. Oh, you know another low actually.
Oh, how many lows you want? It's normally
the head
one.
highs. The try-saving head highs.
Yes.
How does Schiller get 10 in the bin for a great tackle?
Yep.
And then Mitchell Moses stays on the field for a great tackle, which I agree.
Yep.
I don't think either of them deserve 10 in the bin.
No.
But if you're going to give one, the other one
rules.
needs to be done. And the thing is, that's not the referee's decision. That is the bunker. And they were 2 massive moments in the games because the Knights were pretty close to that period.
Yep.
And they just blew them off the park. And then the Eels, like they were almost gone. So my high, the Bulldogs, 32-0.
Yeah.
Good Friday. That was outstanding. The way they played, that was one of the best performances I've seen. They were incredible. And they didn't even really throw too much in their attack. It was just all defense and wow. And then Dolphins.
Ash is going to have a go at you. He does one high, one low, and you're just here listing.
Dolphins down 16-2 against the Storm at Suncorp and come and win 42-22. Come on, you got to
Fins up.
You got to give them praise.
Yeah.
Come on. And it looked like they should have scored more points.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. There's my high and lows.
I can't wait for Ash.
3 lows, 2 highs.
Well done. Okay. Yeah. You've got.
And I did mention you give it to the referees in it.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we start going into the tips, big shout out to the kids at the top of the ESPN ausmericanaces NRL footing tip. Jadles has been knocked off. Olga and Jadles.
Olga's gone.
Actually, no. Jadles continues her run at the top.
Come on.
Olga has now slipped to 7th. We've now got some new faces in the top 3. Corey Warboys and Cobra at 636 make the 3 with Jadles.
Let me read this one. Renee, big capitals, Renee, has fallen to 27th. Although,
How did you go in your tips on the weekend?
no, let's
I
just
think I
say-
got 2, if that.
Oh, mate, they were very hard.
That hurt. It hurt me so bad.
When Storm were up 16-2, you don't think they lose.
No. But apparently it had the little green arrow next to mine, which means I have moved up. So I didn't notice I was lower than 27 last.
So some people got 1 out of 7. Jesus.
Yeah.
Tommy Sheridan, stick to the AFL champ.
Yeah.
37th.
37th. And old Ash has fallen to 49th. And remember how I was bragging last week that I was number 3 in the AFL?
Yeah, you're flying.
I was absolutely flying. I don't know what happened. I'm now in 28th.
This is what I said, mate. The first 7-8 rounds,
I
the people that got no idea on the sport go well, and then after that,
got too cocky. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm 3. We're going to get a win for the NRL team. I was becoming a team, not just me.
no. AFL, what a game.
Well, make sure you get your tips in. We've got a great week of rugby league coming up, of course, with the Anzac Day clash, the great one. But we kick off on Thursday night. So I just need you to make a pick. So
Sweet.
let's not dive too much into it. Thursday night, we kick off with the Broncos and Bulldogs. This, at the start of the year, would have been touted as one of the games of the round. It's obviously a little bit different with how the Broncos are.
I still think it's the game of the round.
They're yo-yoing at the moment, though. I don't feel like it's going to be
No Reece Walsh,
contested.
Cobber
That's
at
what I
fullback.
mean.
So you know I'm going to tip? The Broncos.
Are you?
Yep.
Broncos at home. Okay. Wow.
Yep.
There's no way I'm betting against the Bulldogs. They're flying. Roosters and Dragons on Friday afternoon.
And this is a big one, Anzac
This
Day.
is the Anzac Day clash.
Go on, Dragons.
Are you going to this one?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm going to be at this game. This is one on the calendar you love going to.
Yeah.
The last post that they do beforehand, the build-up it's unbelievable. So I think it'll be highly emotional, that game.
Mm-hmm.
You always see a few tears from the players, especially they've had family in the wars. So I think Flano will have the boys pumped up, but then so will Trent Robertson. I think this is a neck and neck game. This one.
I'm going Dragons for this one.
Yeah, I've got Dragons
Yeah,
too. Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Look, we're on the same page for once.
Ooh.
Warriors and Knights. This one's over in New Zealand as well too, which I love that
Yep.
they've got a game over there as well.
So good. Warriors Knights just can't score at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. Storm versus South, and of course, there's been huge changes in the South lineup. Latrell Mitchell's been put back into fullback. Gray, who's leading the Dally M count, sitting on the bench.
Well, you need your big guns firing. You need your big guns out
Mm-hmm.
there. You know, I've got a stat for you.
Go.
Souths has never won in Melbourne.
Wow.
And you know what? They still won't either. Storm win.
You reckon Storm are going to bounce
Storm
back
win
from last
plenty.
week?
Geez, as I said, I'd hate to be. Remember what happened last time when Storm got beat?
Yeah, that was
Dragons
last week.
beat them, and then Manly got absolutely slaughtered.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Good
Or
luck.
like a woman scorned.
Good luck, South Sydney. I'd like to see a close game, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then we head on Saturday up to the Cowboys taking on the Titans. So an all Queensland affair.
Cowboys, I reckon. They've had to come off the bye. I think they got 3 wins in a row.
Yeah.
They had 3 in a row. They lost 3, and then they have 3 wins in a row.
Jeez, why isn't that a big headline? Because they're Queensland.
Well, because everyone wanted to sack Todd Payton. And
Well, this is true.
he's
yeah.
back. He's back from the
Now
dead.
we're putting Adam O'Brien on the chopping block, and he's out.
If they score some points, Adsy might be all right.
Yeah. Good luck, boys. All right. Then we go to this game's going to be tough.
Oh, mate.
Penrith versus Manly.
Stick solid to the boys. Go Manly.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
going to back him?
Yep.
I like that. Great attitude.
Tommy Turbo's back.
Yeah, I know. How
Yep.
good's that?
Big in.
That's
But
gonna be
Jakey's out.
huge. Yeah, one
Cat
in,
won.
one out.
Yeah.
Sunday we go to Raiders and Dolphins.
Who would have thought this is going to be a great game of footy?
Yeah, I think this is going to be good footy.
I reckon the Raiders, and I'm loving what Corey Horsburgh's doing up at the Canberra Raiders. He's been outstanding for him.
Really?
Yep.
All season?
It's been great.
Okay.
Ricky Stewart, I don't know why I didn't play him last year.
We
Obviously, I
have
do know.
very
They had
different
an
opinions.
argument, but they're back together.
Yeah, well,
and they just
they're-
look good. They look happy, the Raiders. They're flying.
Yeah. No, I've definitely got Raiders on that one. And then, of course, we wrap up with West Tigers taking on the Sharks. This is going to be a tough one.
Sharks.
This is going to be a tough one for the Tigers.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough. But they beat them. The West Tigers beat them at Leichhardt last year.
Yeah, I was going to say we
they had a
are
great-
at Leichhardt.
You don't know what side you're going to get from West Tigers at Leichhardt.
The ancestral fathers rise up from the Leichhardt grounds.
Yeah, they might not be happy, but with the new stadium design. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah. All right. So we're going Sharkies on that one.
Yep.
Okay. The Anzac jerseys, I have to say, this year have stepped up tenfold. Normally, like, there's obviously bits and pieces, except was it the West Tigers when they used a stock photo and it was the American army?
Oh, yeah, they used the wrong one. I don't know. Was it the Tigers? Was it?
I think it was the Tigers. Or was it Canberra?
Oh, I'm not too sure. I can't remember.
Okay.
I remember there was
Allegedly,
a bit of a mishap.
one of the NRL
mishap.
teams did some bad stuff and they put on the American army. But this year, every single club has released a story. The only thing I thought, which I might need confirmation on, is the Warriors have only got their training shirt, but it's the map of Gallipoli.
Oh, really?
And I don't think they're playing in a jersey specifically, which is Anzac. The training shirt is awesome.
Oh, wow.
But they're still playing in their normal jerseys. But every single one, do yourself a favour, go to their website and get some really solid sort of history behind it. Newcastle's is different colour.
Really?
They're in brown, green, and white.
So they're like a bit similar to Roosters because the Roosters are blue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're basically going to ground brown and white, and it's to do with a guy that actually played for Newcastle and went to war as well.
Well, I think it's just a great initiative by clubs, and it's probably the one round as fans we don't knock the jerseys, whether they're different colours or whatnot, or you know, if you can't see the number on the back, no one cares.
Yeah.
Because the reasoning behind why the jerseys are what they are, you know, it's a big reason. So, look, I'm pumped. I love it. I love seeing the clubs wear different jerseys and loving seeing all the meanings behind it as well. And, but none better than the Dragons and Roosters. Anzac Day.
I just love it. Do yourself a favour if you're not doing anything this weekend. And I know us Sydney folk whinged that we didn't have any games in Sydney a couple of weeks back, but there is plenty on offer, smorgasbord of rugby league, and obviously a chance to teach the kids about the history of the game and everything else in between. We now move on to Would You Back It?
You want Ashes first? You want to do Ashes?
I'll hit Ashes up. So he's taking on the Brisbane Broncos and Bulldogs game.
Yep.
I'll give you some stat mates first before I tell you what he's picked, because the Brisbane Broncos have allowed 12 of 27, so 44% of tries scored down the right-hand side of the field so far this season. Now, Ash has seen that, and he's locked in Carraz for 2+.
Not one, but two.
Yeah, 2. He's gone, you know what, I'll take that stat, mate.
He loves
and
it, doesn't he?
will go. I'll double down. This is also a new feature as well too. So underneath the player graph in StatMate app, you now show users where teams have conceded tries so far this season, which I think is really cool. So you can go left, centre or right. So you can actually see where the holes are and try and add that into your multis that way.
Maybe we should send that to Newcastle.
That might help
where they
them.
can attack.
That might help him. Dear Adam O'Brien, check out StatMate. So he's gone.
Love ausmericanaces.
Yeah. We will be on the shit list. He's gone Bulldogs head-to-heads, Carraz 2+, and kick out all anytime.
Wow.
So that's his little rundown. What do you think?
I don't mind that. Actually, I did tip the Broncos, but I didn't see that stat thanks to StatMate.
Hey, while he's not here, if he doesn't get this bet,
You know, I've got one for him. He's got to eat pastrami, whatever it is.
why pastrami?
No, what's that? The real bad one.
What? Bad what?
No, it's like real. I'll get it.
You're about to offend someone.
No,
here.
no.
I was going to come up with a physical challenge.
Oh, what do you want to do? Yeah, you go.
Well, I reckon throw him through like a rowing test or something, like a fitness test, a rugby league or a yo-yo.
10 1 minutes, 30 seconds off.
Yeah, which is
300
running
metres.
through, and he's got to wear full kit.
Yep, Manly.
Yeah, full Manly kit. Maybe we can find one of the injured players to take him on.
Yep.
Or yourself. And
Take him down to Brookie.
Yeah.
In the sheds.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes.
And I'll get a name of that food.
Yeah.
I think I got it wrong. Pastrami's good, isn't it?
I was going to say, I think I like pastrami.
Yeah, I'll get a better one.
Okay. All right. Well, until then, so if he doesn't get this one, Ash, if you're listening, Woodsy's going to take you to Manly and throw you through, what was it, 10?
Have to ask Siebes first. Hopefully it's a good game against Penrith. And we can just jump in the facility.
Maybe Ash might get a call up.
We're not on that bad. Come on.
All right. Woodsy, take on yours.
All right, I'll pick the Dragons Roosters game.
Yep.
And StatMate had some good stats, and I had to look at it because I was like, it's actually tempting. So James Tedesco is scored, he's torn the Dragons apart in previous years.
Yep.
So he's scored a try in all their past 5 meetings, 7 in total.
That's big.
So a couple of times he's got a double.
Yeah.
Billy Smith, he scored 3 tries in his past 2 matches against the Dragons. And Tyrell Sloan has scored 2+ tries in 3 of his 5 matches this season.
Okay.
So for this one, I'm going to go Tedesco, anytime try scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Sloan, anytime try scorer. And Dragons, head-to-head.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just one.
Yeah.
Just one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't mind that.
Need a win.
It's subtle because normally you're like the person who throws 1,000 legs in a multi.
Well, I'm getting in trouble for having too many highs and lows, and so I just thought I'd stick solid.
And now I'm saying it's not
Let's
enough.
go one on each side and then
Okay.
hopefully back a winner.
All right.
And the
good
way I've
luck.
been going with my tips at the moment, I don't know if I'll back a winner.
But I think all of us needed a break last week
Oh,
because
mate.
that was horrendous.
Sickening. It's so bad. But, Statmate, they did change my mind, so I've used 2 of their stats this week.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, they are your best mates when it comes to building a multi, and they're now also available on Android and iOS. So everyone, free for all. Get it down. It's free. Get amongst it. Now, as I mentioned, we are missing our great man Ash today when we normally do the offload. So I thought I'd do something different.
Okay.
It's a bit of a one-on-one with Woodsy.
Oh, yep.
I've got 10 questions, and you have to answer them as quickly as you possibly can.
Okay.
Are you ready to go?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right, don't think, just answer. Number 1, first team you'd drop everything to coach and the one you'd politely decline.
I'd like to coach Brisbane.
Yeah.
I'd probably decline Penrith because I think Nathan Cleary does a lot of the coaching there.
I feel like it's a weak answer. What, because they're too good?
Yeah, I don't want to coach Penrith.
Wouldn't you want to coach them and you get your first couple of runs on the board and you'd be like, yeah, I'm a free
Look at
coach.
Brisbane's side.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to coach them. One rule change to instantly make the game better.
Get rid of 6 again.
Yeah, okay. You don't like that?
Don't like it.
What, because of speed?
Because sometimes the ref doesn't even know what he's giving 6 again for.
You just hear the bell just going
Just you go
constantly.
ding, and then like the fans are just there in confusion. We know that they got 6. We know that it's just going to be 6 tackles, or
Yeah.
it's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, that's true. I don't mind that. Which current players secretly made for reality TV?
Oh, easy, Toby Rudolph from Cronulla Sharks.
Oh, true.
yeah,
Yes.
Toby Rudolph. He would absolutely anything. Survivor, dating showed he'd kill it.
I reckon he's going to come up in one of the other questions. Who's the biggest pest you've ever faced on the field, and who's the biggest pest in the sheds?
Well, biggest pest on the field would be Will Chambers, one of the great sledges.
Really?
Yeah, loved playing against Will. He's so
I didn't
funny.
know Will was that good.
He did his homework. He knew what he was talking about. He was one of the greats. Biggest pests
in the sheds.
like each team has it. Like, mate, Sharks, there was a few there actually.
Jimmy Maloney's got to take one.
Well, Jimmy Maloney was just a pain in the ass. Like, you didn't want to talk to him. Luke Lewis was a pest. Kurt
Yep.
Capewell.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, mate, Capes used to drive me mad.
Why? How?
Oh, it was like once Luke Lewis retired, he took on Louis' role, and it was just he drove me mad. But he's a funny man.
Did he start doing Louis' magic tricks?
Oh. Well, I want to know the magic trick to why he's so big now.
I know.
He's a monster.
What's he doing? Is he doing CrossFit or something now?
Oh, he's doing everything.
Yeah.
Louis is one of those guys who got hands in the play everywhere.
You said Will Chambers does his homework better than anyone else.
Yep.
What was one of the best that he's ever hit you with?
Oh, no. Well, like, I
Well,
remember we were playing for Australia and we played against the Poms and we packed down the front row and he's just going, oh, Jimmy, here's Woods, he's taking your cash. Like, just little things like that. Just to annoy
Just
people.
chirps.
But obviously, he didn't say it that way, but yeah. And then there was another bloke that we had to tackle and here you go. So Will would have to stand one off the scrum and we're playing against the Poms again. And they're known for being quite large humans. And he goes, I can't tackle this bloke, he's on the juice. And at the end of the game, the bloke kept trying to come to Will and goes, look, man, I'm not on the juice, man. I'm not on the juice. I just like doing my wets.
So it got in his skin.
It's just
got
like-
in.
And Will's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He's
I
a
like
funny
that
man,
one.
Will. I love him.
If you could smack one NRL moment with the delete button, what is it?
What do you mean, NRL moment?
What could be an NRL moment of yours that you wish you could delete that never happened? State of Origin comes to mind.
No, well, that's
I'm
not
missing
not bad. You know what? Leaving the Tigers.
Really?
Yeah.
You wish you never left?
Wish I stayed.
Wish they had more money to keep you though too.
Oh, they actually offered more, but
Did
yeah,
they?
Yeah. But yeah, probably wish I hadn't have left. Yeah,
Oh, that's huge.
that's big.
It makes me sad.
That's
Oh, well, we got you at Manly though, and that's something I love.
after 4 other clubs.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's a blur for me. Who always is first to claim a try assist, even if they barely touch the ball?
Lachlan Croker, hooker for Manly.
Really?
Yep.
I thought you were going to say a Sharks player.
He'll throw you the worst pass, and it was apparently his pass to set you up for a try. Or he'll pass to Cherry. Cherry will put a beautiful grub or set someone up, and he goes, "It's my ball that set up the try."
So does he go in and change the stats when you go and have your team meeting?
He wants to see the stats at half time to see how many he's got up his sleeve.
Does he really?
Yep.
I didn't think he'd be
And
that
you know
much
one
of a
who's
stat
so
nerd.
underrated? Blake Brayley. He would never claim a try assist.
Oh.
No, he just so rat's ass, just goes through the motions.
He's
Oh,
just
mate, that was
happy
your
for the win.
ball. You set me up for that. Boom. He goes, yeah, okay, that's good. Such a good kid.
I'd love to hear
I
that.
love him. Love him.
If Ash was here, who do you reckon he would have picked?
Nico Hines.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
was like, I put the
Nico
ball on the
Hines.
tee
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Did a good one on the weekend. Who's the tightest player when the bill hits the table?
Oh, mate. The Cronulla club I played with. Holy
All of
hell.
them?
Mate, Paul Gallen, who was captain coach. Shane Flanagan was a tight ass too.
Really?
Luke Lewis is a tight ass. Kurt Caples, mate. Valentine Holmes.
What were they breeding down there?
Mate, they just expected freebies
This is
everywhere
why
you went.
Manly hates Cronulla.
Oh, mate. And then the opposite, the Travojeviches, mate, like, you get on the beers with them, you know the trays that they use and they put in the dishwasher and clean out? They'll get a whole tray of vodka Red Bulls and just bring it back to the table. So it's like you've gone from one scale to the other scale.
You've gone from having to pay. Do you know what the worst? And he won't mind me saying this because he's proud of it. Scotty Prince, when I was up at the Titans,
yep.
he knew the Australian haka better than anyone. When you go, I forgot my wallet.
Oh, mate. But some blokes play
He
on
was
it.
a king of it. And I'm like, you are on that much coin.
Some blokes feed on it and they
Yeah.
love it. Yeah. Blokes, I remember coming to first grade, Benji Marshall, Robbie Farah, Lottie Takiri, like I was like only 18 and like these blokes are just buying rounds after. I was like, mate, these guys must have so much money. Wow.
And then you get there and you're like, oh.
Now I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Jeez, this
This
is going
is
to happen when I get home.
Yeah. What's the most cooked pre-game routine or superstition you've ever seen? I know one that we can't repeat.
Who's that from?
Clemmer.
What's that? Like Clem's, mate. Every player's different.
Yeah.
Like cooked pre-game routine. Like some blokes will just have to shower at the same time, have to eat a certain food and go see movies. Like Josh Maguire would go see a movie and have like Coke Slurpees and Maltesers, like day of the game.
Yuck, I'd be
Matt
vomiting.
Lodge used to wear the same undies, and they were white ones, and they used to have skiddies for the back end. It was like terrible.
How close were you to his undies to see that?
Well, you see him when he puts it in the sheds.
Yeah, okay, fair.
And like, mate, we haven't like. I understand if they were.
So he's
dirty
not
after
washing
the
in
game.
between them?
I don't think he washed them beforehand.
Oh, that's rank.
Like most of his clothes.
Yeah, that. I don't know if I want to make Matt Lodge angry.
Oh.
Anyone else? Weird or rough?
Nah, that like. Not that
They
we
kind
can
of
do.
hit the
Trent
peg.
Merrim was very, very stiff. Like you couldn't talk to him. Just put his headphones on and looked like he wanted to put his head through a brick wall. And I'd be like, mate, this guy is so uptight before a game.
You
Need to-
look
need to-
so happy before a game.
need
I
to
remember
loosen
in the
up.
sheds
well,
at
mate, I'm
Origin.
going to do something like I love doing, playing
Yeah.
rugby league. Like, this isn't a job. This is fun.
I've got a photo of you, and it was right before kickoff. And it was the Origin where I put a photo of you as a kid behind you in the locker.
Yep.
And you were sitting there, and you had this grin on your
Mate.
face, and you looked exactly like the little kid that was stoked to be on the
Oh.
footy field. It was so good.
Mate, I'll still talk about it now. I've got to play rugby league for 15 years. It's
Yeah.
the best thing ever.
Yeah,
Now
that's
we
the
get to talk about
grouse.
it.
See, I love that.
So good.
Okay, we've got two left. Which player would you least want mic'd up during a game for everyone's sake?
Well, I remember listening to Willie Mason that one time. That was,
Oh, yeah.
I think they had to minimise the
Had to take the mic
footage
off
of
you.
him, yeah, because he would have been talking about himself. James Maloney. I wish I could take his voice box out of his throat some days.
These are two players I'd love to listen
Like
to.
like we used to tour and like you go down to the team room, it's like, oh, it's nice, I'm nice, relaxed, calm. And you hear that croaky voice, it's like Jimmy. He's here already. I just eat my food, get out. Me and Clem will just go somewhere else. We don't need to hear him. He's good value, mate.
I love him, yeah.
He's a funny dude, but geez, mate. I remember when Ivan Cleary come to Tigers and did a bit and coached us, and I was there for that year with him. I always loved asking. I love asking coaches who's like favorite guy you've coached. If you could bring a player over, or like who would drive you. He goes, James Maloney is an incredible competitor. He knows so much about the game, but he's got a career span of 2 years at each club. First year
everyone's
he's
done.
great. He's all in. Next year he's just a punish.
Well, I think it was Toby Rudolph, and I can't remember whether it was him and Jimmy Maloney were injured at the same time or someone was injured with Toby.
No, it was Toby and Wade Graham.
That's
I was there at the club.
Yeah. And
Toby's a different character.
Yeah.
But he's a great character. I love him. He's a funny dude, and he's what you need in every change room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until you're Wade Graham and you're in the rehab squad together. And didn't he ask to move so he wasn't training the same time as Toby?
Wader was in the mornings and Tobes was in the other. Bloke was off his
Toby
head.
couldn't work out why.
So Toby come from Redcliffe, or I think he was playing Redcliffe Dolphins in the Queensland Cup, and he just did his ACL in the final.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
The Queensland versus New South Wales
Yep.
reserve grade, and he come down and one of the first couple of days was in there. Call me Clive. I got the Clive Churchill medalist in the Queensland Cup grand final.
Oh God!
And from that, a lot of folks were like, "Who the hell?"
What have we
Wado
signed?
told Plano to piss this bloke off, and he will tell you the story, Wado. But luckily, they hang on to him.
Yeah.
And he's done so good now.
Yeah, he's a good character
He's
as well
a funny
too.
dude, man.
All right, leads us to his last question. You're building the ultimate Mad Monday squad. Pick 3 players and go.
Ooh, Mad Monday. Man, I'll have to go. Obviously, my big mate Dave Clemmer.
Yeah.
I love Jakey because we all knew we just loved a beer and a
Yeah.
punt. And I'll probably go Mitchy Moses.
Yeah,
'Cause
okay.
He's got a lot of cash. He's got a lot of cash.
And that way, Jake won't have to pay for the first
That's
time.
it, and we all have a good time.
Oh, see that you're looking after Jakey in that Mad Monday stoush.
Then Jakey can leave his hair down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave the wallet at home.
Mitchell's got a lot of good contacts everywhere, so we could use some of those, and we'd have a great time.
Oh, I like that. All right, I'm pretty annoyed that I didn't get a call up, but that's cute.
We said players.
I made note. Well,
You said players.
ultimate Mad Monday squad. I didn't. Oh yeah, I
Pick
did
three
say pick
players.
3 players.
Come
Sorry,
on.
you're right.
That's it.
All right. Well, I'm still coming anyway. Okay. Well, that was a big week. We missed our little mate Ash this week, but
Did we?
yeah, I did.
I did.
Yeah. Love you, Ash.
I love you, Ash. I love you, Wixie. You missed your 30-second blow up where you took 20 seconds to actually tell us what you're blowing up about.
Well, thanks for not blowing up about the refs this week. Oh, wait, you did. Enjoy the Anzac Day round clash. I know you're heading out to that one. Look forward to catching you on. Which games are you commentating this week?
Anzac
Just that
Day.
one?
Yeah, I got that one.
Beauty.
Dragons and Roosters.
Oh.
I'll be cheering on James Tedesco and Tyrell Sloan, and the Dragons win.
All right, beautiful. Well, hopefully you enjoy our show. Please like, subscribe, share, get it around with your mates as well too. Don't forget to check out the AFL Ausmerican podcast. That's with Train, Daisy and Wallace. We'll see you again next week with more raps about rugby league and we'll dive into the latest news.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.